Hi, I'm Lyle, and this is the Abecedary. The Abecedary is a comic based on definitions and quotations from the Oxford English Dictionary. Each abecedary presents a scene based on the example quotation. This is part of the Anatomy series of abecedaries. The word this week is Jowly, adjective, having large or prominent jowls. This week's quote comes from, Edward George Earl Lytton Bulwer-Lytton, 1st Baron Lytton. I rarely look up who these quotes are from or what they're in until after I've finished drawing the comic. The quotes are chosen for what they evoke in me visually, not any sort of reference to the source material, most of the time. And this quote, it turns out, is from an upper-class twit, and a real all-timer, too. Edward George Earl Lytton Bulwer-Lytton, 1st Baron Lytton, came up with such refrains as, "The great unwashed," rude, "The pen is mightier than the sword," "Pursuit of the almighty dollar," and also gave us the opener, "It was a dark and stormy night." The quote is from the 1st Baron's novel of 1873, Kenelm Chillingly, His Adventures and Opinions. Mr. Mivers arrived. The 16 years that had elapsed since he was first introduced to the reader had made no perceptible change in his appearance. It was one of his maxims that in youth a man of the world should appear older than he is, and in middle age, and thence to his dying day, younger. And he announced one secret for attaining that art in these words: "Begin your wig early, thus you never become gray." Unlike most philosophers, Mivers made his practice conform to his precepts, and while in the prime of youth, inaugurated a wig in a fashion that defied the flight of time, not curly and hyacinthine, but straight-haired and unassuming. He looked 35 from the day he put on that wig at the age of 25. He looked 35 now, at age of 51. "I mean," said he, "to remain 35 all my life. No better age to stick at. People may choose to say I am more, but I shall not own it. No one is bound to criminate himself." Mr. Mivers had some other aphorisms on this important subject. One was, "Refuse to be ill." Never tell people you are ill. Never own it to yourself. Illness is one of those things which a man should resist on principle at the onset. It should never be allowed to get in the thin edge of the wedge. But take care of your constitution and, having ascertained the best habits for it, keep to them like clockwork. Mr. Mivers would not have missed his constitutional walk in the park before breakfast, if, by going in a cab to St. Giles, he could have saved the city of London from conflagration. Another aphorism of his was, "If you want to keep young, live in a metropolis. Never stay above a few weeks at a time in the country. Take 2 men of similar constitution at the age of 25. Let one live in London and another enjoy a regular sort of club life. Send the other to some rural district, preposterously called salubrious. Look at these men when they have both reached the age of 45. The London man has preserved his figure, The rural man has a paunch. The London man has an interesting delicacy of complexion. The face of the rural man is coarse-grained, and perhaps jowly. A third axiom was, don't be a family man. Nothing ages one like matrimonial felicity and paternal ties. Never multiply cares, and pack up your life in the briefest compass that you can. Why add to your carpet bag of troubles the contents of a lady's imperials and bonnet boxes and the traveling foregone required by the nursery? Shun ambition. It is so gouty. It takes a great deal out of a man's life and gives him nothing worth having till he has ceased to enjoy it. Another of his aphorisms was this: a fresh mind keeps the body fresh. Take in the ideas of the day. Drain off those of yesterday. As to the morrow, time enough to consider it when it becomes today. Preserving himself by attention to these rules, Mr. Mivers appeared at Ex Mundham, totus teres but not rotundus. Oh my god. Okay, that's it. That's the end of these. That's the end of this quotation. I'm not reading any more of this preposterous bullshit.